I'm here with DC right outside the MGM. How you doing this morning?
I'm good, man. Good. Going to get a haircut.
You going to get a haircut?
Yeah.
I think you look good already, but
I need it.
You need a haircut?
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Okay.
Thank you so much for allowing me to ask these questions. What do you want to do now that you're champ? Do you want to fight John Jones or?
Well, whoever they give me to fight first, I'm fighting Gustafson. But you know, eventually I'd like to fight Jones again and try to avenge the first loss.
So you really want that, John Jones?
Yeah, I mean, I think every guy in the division wants to fight him. He has been the champ for a long time. And anytime a guy's a long-time champion, you want to be the one to beat him.
And how do you feel about John Jones' little fiasco, him stepping off and not being able to step into the octagon?
Well, you know, man, people make mistakes. Hopefully this is the mistake that John learned from and becomes back a better person. We all know he can fight. Hopefully clean up the things outside of the octagon and be all right.
And what about Gustafson? That's next. That's on your plate.
Yeah.
And anything you want to tell the fans about Gustafson?
No, he's a good fighter. You know, he's a tough guy. He's gonna be very motivated for the second opportunity. I know how it was when I got my second chance, so I know the type of motivation he's gonna have, being that this is gonna be his second opportunity to become the champion. So I anticipate a very tough fight and the best Alexander Gustafson that we've ever seen.
So after the John Jones loss, you were hungry?
I was very hungry. Yeah, ready to go.
And you feel like Alexander might have that same hunger that you had?
Drive, that same determination. It'll be very tough for me to beat him.
Last question. I'm going to let you go get your hair cut.
All right.
But, how do you feel about how he matched up with Anthony Johnson versus the way you did? Do you feel like he didn't do well in that fight? Well, he gave up?
Obviously, he didn't have his best fight. But I think it all came down to one mistake. With a guy like Anthony Johnson, if you make a mistake, the fight's over. So I think Alexander made a mistake. If they fought 10 times, I'm sure they would. The results would vary. Made a mistake. That's all it was.
That's all it was.
I didn't make any mistakes.
Well, thanks for your time, champ, and can't wait to see your new haircut.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Daniel Cormier versus John Jones, Part 2, the rematch. This fight is inevitable. We haven't seen John Jones since the beginning of 2015. January 3rd, 2015 is when he defeated Daniel Cormier and kept his title. And then all that bad news developed for John Jones. The hit and run, the loss of his title, being reinstated back into UFC. That's what happened recently. He's been reinstated. And I want to talk about this fight now that he's been reinstated and ask you guys, the fans, if you see any change in these two fighters. Daniel Cormier, has he improved? And John Jones, has he regressed? Does all this matter? All the personal things in the life of John Jones, does this matter? Does this reflect on his career? And do you believe in karma, in the results of positive energy, putting in hard work and perseverance? Is that what gets you places, guys? Well, John Jones lost his title because of the negative energy in his life, the drinking, the driving around. This guy settled out of court. He settled out of court, and there must be a huge monetary loss in the career of John Jones, in his bank account, and he's got to feel that. Now, we've seen photos of John Jones looking better than ever, bigger, stronger, badder than he's ever looked. Is this the John Jones that we're going to see when he finally fights Daniel Cormier, when this fight finally culminates and these two guys step back into the cage? We remember the big press event that summer and the fight in the MGM Grand, and that really pushed the fans so much that this fight became huge. And we finally saw this fight months later. Months later, we saw this fight. It's been a year now since John Jones has fought in the UFC octagon. Now, is he going to bring ring rust to the cage? Are his personal problems going to reflect on his fight? Those are the questions that we need to answer. And those are the questions that are going to be answered when this fight finally happens, when this fight comes to fruition. Daniel Cormier is 36 years old. He's been living the right life. He's been living the life of a champion, while John Jones might have been living some kind of punk's life and still been that talented to stay champion. He's 28 years old now. I personally feel like when you're younger, you can mess around. When you're 21 years old, you're in that good a shape. But eventually, those mistakes are going to catch up with you. This guy's a talent, John Bones Jones. He went out there and defeated all the old great 205ers of yesteryear. Guys like Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Mauricio Shogun Rua, Quinton Rampage Jackson, Lyoto Machida. These guys fell to the great one when John Jones went on his tear as a new champion from 2011, 2012. He defeated the great ones, and then we saw the fight with Gustafsson. Even defeated Glover Teixeira and then Daniel Cormier. Now, are we going to see that same guy that just demolished opponent after opponent after opponent return? Yeah, we probably are, but we might see, and I'm saying it again, we might see some of the faults, some of the mistakes that he made in his life come back and haunt him. You can't get away with doing the wrong thing forever. Eventually, it's going to get you. So that's why we all recommend to live a good life and do the right things. Make positive choices. Peace out, guys. I'm going to go with DC here and say that DC keeps his title and defeats John Jones. He's going to do it by grinding on him, taking him down, getting on top of him, ground and pounding, and eventually breaking him. Peace out, guys. I can't wait to see this fight.